Thank you so much for joining me at the 4 steps to improve your English in 3 months. Let's get started. Now, I know how ready you are to improve your English, but sometimes obstacles get in the way. So, some of the things that might be stopping you are time, money, a course that is suitable for you, like a class that really fits your needs, dedication, the inability to travel to an English-speaking country. So I'm going to tell you how you can fix those things with one easy course, but also how to stay motivated. All right. So let me tell you my story. I'm a native English speaker. But I know the process of becoming fluent because I learned a second language myself. I started learning Spanish at age 13. So I was first exposed to Spanish when I was around 8 years old, but I didn't take my first semester-long class until 8th grade. That class taught me very basic vocabulary for one semester. And here you can see me. I was in Cancun, Mexico around age 9, and here I am in my 4th grade class where the teacher did a Spanish unit. Now, it was not until 2 years later that I started learning verb tenses in the past and future, which allowed me to start speaking basic sentences. However, I did not have confidence to speak with native speakers until I was 18. And here I am at age 18 in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. When I was 18, I lived in Mexico for a month and was able to order food over the phone. I was able to speak with local taxi drivers and vendors. Although I could communicate in basic situations, I was still not fluent enough to understand everything and communicate every need. It wasn't until 2 years later, when I lived in Spain for 3 months, that I really became fluent. I no longer had to think about my sentences before I said them. Words easily rolled off my tongue, and I understood what people were saying to me. It does not have to take you this long, though. Before Spain, most of my practice was confined to a classroom for 1 or 2 hours, 3 to 5 days a week. The only practice I did outside of class was my homework. What was it about Spain that made me build my fluency so quickly? I'm here to tell you that it was not because I was living in a Spanish-speaking country. In fact, I probably spoke more English than Spanish because my housemates were native English speakers. The main reason I became fluent in Spain is because being there inspired a major shift in my mindset. I became more motivated than ever to become fluent. I practiced more consistently every day. I spoke to people in Spanish outside of class. I read every day in Spanish, and I wrote in my journal in Spanish. I had finally switched my mind from fluency is a pipe dream to fluency is a reality. This mindset is called a growth mindset, and that is the first step you need to take in your journey to learn English. Step 1, maintain a growth mindset. The number one key for you to become more fluent in English is your mindset. If you believe you can do it, you can. This is not just a teacher encouraging her students. This is a research-based fact. Look up Dr. Carol Dweck and you will see how a fixed versus a growth mindset can change everything about how you progress on anything in life, not just language. Did you hear that, guys? It's your growth mindset. That changes everything. So that's step 1. Now, not only is this research-based, but I can speak to my progress from when I had a fixed mindset and switched to having a growth mindset. When I was in high school, I was very excited to start taking Spanish classes because I traveled to Mexico since I was 8 years old. ever since then, I wanted to become fluent. After my first year of Spanish, I signed up with an exchange program to live in Mexico for 6 weeks. I learned so much about the language and culture. So when I came back that year, I started Spanish 2 with a new teacher. Spanish 2 was a lot harder than Spanish 1, and I was not used to this teacher's techniques. Suddenly, Spanish became difficult instead of interesting. My first reaction was to quit because I didn't think I would succeed. I had the mindset that if something was too difficult, I shouldn't waste my time on it. I was also not comfortable asking questions in class because I perceived that I was not as smart as some of the other kids in my class. I did not want to look dumb. The thing is, I was not even failing the class. I did bad on one quiz and gave up. I believe I had a C in the class. Many of my peers in that class got A's. I was comparing myself to them and felt stupid. To avoid this humiliation, I asked my guidance counselor to drop the class. Good thing I was not allowed to drop the class without my mom's permission because she simply said no. Why would I study abroad only to come back and quit? Basically, I stopped believing in myself when things got hard, but after that conversation with my mom, I was re-energized, and eventually I majored in Spanish in college and became fluent. If I had let my fixed mindset of life gets hard, then quit, take over, then I would not have become fluent. I might not even be teaching ESL. I might not even be creating this course for you right now. So later, when I went on to study in Spain at age 20, I was never afraid to make mistakes and ask questions. That is why I had so much growth there. In my advanced grammar class, I was speaking and making mistakes without reservation. This actually got me a B+ in the speaking part of the class, while my peer got an A. Although it hurt me at the time, it actually was to my advantage in the end because I was the one who became fluent and my friend did not. So, when you think the language has gotten too hard or that you will just never be fluent because you cannot travel or you have no one to speak with, stop that fixed mindset. Start a growth mindset. What do you have in your control? Your actions and your attitude. Make it positive. Get dedicated. Stay committed. Be fearless. Forget about mistakes and start. You can do it. Now, step 2. This is about immersing yourself in English daily. You want to surround yourself with it. So, when I was learning Spanish, I had no access to the internet at first. The internet had just been made available to the public, and at the time, the main search engine was called altavista.com. Do you even know AltaVista now? I don't think so. That shows you how much the internet has evolved since then. I only remember having access to websites in English, and research was limited. So things like YouTube did not exist. Today you have language at your fingertips. You can immerse yourself in language at any moment. And more than 50% of internet websites are in English. So if you want to be a fluent speaker, part of building fluency doesn't just mean speaking. You need to be able to read, write, and understand as well. Your speaking will improve as the other 3 domains improve. The 4 language domains are speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Although your main concern may be to improve only one domain, such as speaking, it is extremely valuable to practice all 4 language domains because it builds off, one builds off of the other. By that I mean the better you read, the more vocabulary you will acquire to use when you speak. The better you speak, the more likely you are to engage in conversation and then build your listening fluency. The more you practice writing, the more you will improve your grammar and vocabulary, which will influence all of the other domains. In essence, it's a domino effect. Practice in one area affects the improvement and growth in all the other areas. Number 3, keep an English language journal. This is like so simple, but it can help you so much. So, this is crucial to keep track of your language growth and to collect new vocabulary and grammar points. I have created an English journal for you to practice and learn all types of vocabulary. Keep this with you when you're practicing English or taking lessons. Also, write after your lessons to reflect on what you learned. And this is when retention takes place. Retention means that you're keeping it all in your brain. You're not just memorizing it, it's staying there. So that's why it's so important to have that writing piece after your learning and the reflection and noticing what you're doing well at, what you need to work on. That all makes you learn more and more. So, when I was in Mexico on my exchange trip, I kept a journal and wrote down all the vocabulary I learned. I only wrote in Spanish sometimes because I had very limited fluency at the time. However, the little I did write showed me how much I grew from that time to the next 4 years and beyond. It also helped me to retain the vocabulary I learned forever. You don't have to look at this journal as purely academic either. You can also use it to free write and make it a time for you to practice English without reservations. Write about your day or what you want for the future. Write short stories or poems. Write about what you would normally write in a journal. Your hopes, dreams, goals, mistakes, passions, frustrations. To keep track of your progress, each month, go back and check your mistakes. See if you improved on your vocabulary usage or grammar structure throughout the month. Then make it a goal to use certain grammar points the next month. Later, you could make it a goal to incorporate more idioms or specific vocabulary. Make it your own. Gear it towards your needs and let the possibilities lead you to growth. Bring your journal to class and put new vocabulary into context, or ask your teacher questions that came up throughout the week. Clarify your understanding, then build your confidence by consistently speaking with and listening to your teacher. Step 4, what do you think it is? Work with me, or any English teacher. It doesn't just have to be me, but I would love to be working with you. So I'm going to say work with me. But anyway, to add support, you really do need a teacher for guidance. All the practice you're doing on your own, it's extremely helpful then to be able to talk to a native speaker and see what you need to improve. So your English teacher can help you fine-tune your English. That means make it correct by correcting your grammar, enhancing your vocabulary, and just telling you what you need to work on. This will be the time for you to really focus in on your weaknesses and then advance your strengths. So, why choose me? There are plenty of English teachers out there, but what makes me special? First of all, we are speaking together. So there's many teachers, they offer you videos, they offer you coursework to do and homework type of things. But for me, we're talking as a group together and you get so much feedback and practice one-on-one. The other thing is, I believe in you and I want to see you succeed. That is what my passion is. It's working with you and seeing how much you grow. That's just something that I live for. I absolutely love to do that. And not only that, but I always notice what my students' strengths and weaknesses are. And my students tell me, they're like, how do you know this is what I need? I'm like, because I pay attention to you. And that's the reason why I love what I do, because I actually want to see you grow. And how do I do that? by paying attention and noticing what your needs are. And finally, I'm a certified ESL teacher. I'm not just a native English speaker. I took classes to learn how to teach people English as a second language, or maybe it's your third language, or more. Who knows? Some people speak many languages and they're also learning English. But anyway, I know the skills and strategies that language learners need in order to learn this language. So, come on, what are you waiting for? This is the best deal. Now, you might be thinking, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I want to make sure you love this, so I'm going to let you try it for just $1 for a whole week. So are you ready to join the Enthusiastic English crew? You guys, normally I charge $45 an hour for my lessons. If you took classes with me 5 days a week for a month, that would be $900 a month. But I'm offering you an amazing deal. You can accomplish all of these steps by joining the Enthusiastic English crew for just $69.95 a month. At the Enthusiastic English crew, you will have access to 25-minute group lessons with me whenever you can sign up on my calendar. Speaking classes will be limited to no more than 6 people. A private Facebook group to practice with me and other students, and a speaking partner. But you can try all of this risk-free. The best part is you will only be charged $1 for the first week. If you decide you don't like it, you can cancel your subscription before you get charged $69.95. So, I want you to try all of this risk-free. You can join the Enthusiastic English crew now for just $1 for the first week. When you join, you will also get my journal, Practice English Daily, for free. Yes, that's right. Normally $7.99, but all yours free when you join EEC. All right, you guys, so there's no reason not to join. Now I'm going to show you some testimonials from my students. I've taught adult students, I've taught kids, and I'm going to show you all of the students that I've worked with and what they have to say about me as a teacher. Some of them were in group classes, some of them were one-on-one, and I will let you know some of them were online, some of them were in person, but I'll read them all to you. Okay, here we go. So, this is from Camila. I worked with her one-on-one. She had just gotten here from Brazil, and she's working in the United States now, still. So here's what she says. My name is Camila, and I had the pleasure of being Nikki's student. Learning is an individual process, but it becomes more interesting when we are guided by someone who knows how to teach. Surely Nikki is an excellent teacher. She's creative, funny, concerned about her student, and very attentive. I learned a lot from her as she helped me progress in my English during my first 2 months in Illinois, working as an au pair. Towards the end of our sessions, she helped me study for the Illinois driver's test, which I was able to pass with her guidance. I'm very grateful that she has chosen this profession because I am now much more confident in my English. Nikki is an amazing teacher. She is patient, knowledgeable, and keeps lessons always interesting. She seems to really enjoy her job and is enthusiastic when teaching. Definitely a keeper. So this one is from Carrie, and Carrie, I teach her son Spanish actually. So I work with him one-on-one. He's a high school student. I started working with him in August of 2016, and now I'm still working with him. I'm going to be working with him all summer and probably next school year again. Nicole is a great consultant. She can teach English in a very natural way. She's also very knowledgeable at Spanish, music, philosophy, etc. I not only enjoy the lesson, but also have fun today. The teacher is so nice and patient. She gave us the equal chances to answer questions. She also expanded the question to another topic that is useful because it can help us understand. Thanks. It was so nice to meet you, a wonderful teacher like you. You taught me with full of patience. I was deeply impressed by your warm passion. Thank you for correcting my pronunciation. I hope I can study in your class soon. Gives us a lot of time to speak in English. She corrects our pronunciation and sentences. Her explanation is very clear and detailed. Thanks. So those last few testimonials were from students I taught online. It was group lessons. They live in Taiwan or China, and I worked with them at a company called Tutor ABC. And if you have access to YouTube, you can see I did a whole review of Tutor ABC and another company I worked for called VIP Kid. So you can check that out and you see how I worked in that environment. Nikki was so patient, I highly recommend her. This was from a parent that I taught her student and helped her daughter pass one of her final exams for Spanish. It was a few years ago. Excellent tutor. Even in the first session, established a good relationship with my high school son and used diverse, engaging methods to address his study needs. She continues to be both effective and engaging. We could not be more pleased. So this is from another parent. I tutored her son, and I actually ended up tutoring both Spanish and English literature and worked with him for many, many months. First of all, she's pretty and has a clear voice, which all of us can easily understand. I love both her accent and voice. Guys, reserve your sessions with teacher Nikki Lubing right now, beforehand than others. Did you attend my Instagram live lesson? Of course I did. You look so pretty on the screen. Please do go live more often and share your knowledge to us, teacher. We really appreciate you too much. I agree with her. She is perfect in her videos. It helps a lot. These are from students on Instagram. Sometimes they have live lessons. This is in Spanish, but it says, Miss Lubing, I don't know where to begin. First, I want to thank you for First, I want to thank you for helping me since the beginning of the year. Without your help, I would never be where I am at this level of English right now. Thank you for everything. And then this is in English from the same student. Thank you a lot. You teach me so much. I'm glad I had you as my teacher. Miss you. Have a great summer. Miss Lubing, I feel so lucky to have had a wonderful teacher like you. I will miss you, and I appreciate your help in class, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. I'll come to visit you guys. Those are from students that I taught in the middle school in a public school. That was everything, and I'm so happy that you were here, and I really cannot wait to get to know you. Thanks so much for watching this whole video. And I will see you soon, I hope. Can't wait to meet you. Bye.